Hey everyone, it's Vaneese Johnson, the Boldness Coach, and I'm here doing a Friday takeover on the ODOS's Synergy Services page. So shout out to Miss Lisa Riley for putting together this amazing group of women entrepreneurs, and shout out for her allowing me to do a Friday evening takeover for the next 30 minutes talking about how to live your boldest life and how to live that bold life right now. So as I mentioned, I'm Vaneese Johnson, the Boldness Coach, and I help women entrepreneurs just like you to be bold, big, and bad, to be unapologetic in finding and expressing your level of bold with no permission needed. So I know that sounds like, ooh, kind of juicy, kind of like, wait a minute, what is that really about? Let me give you just a brief background of where this all came about and how the Boldness Coach was birthed. So I was at a major crossroads in my life, and I had a life event that happened. And in that life event and at that crossroads, I really was reflecting on my life. And I was like, is this the life that I really want to live for myself? Is this what I imagine my life to look like? And the answer was no to both of those questions. The other question I had to ask myself was, what do I want to get out of this? And based on what I get out of this, what can I impart on other women so that they can get through this sooner, faster, quicker, right? And what I came out of that discussion with, a really good friend of mine, and I said, I want women to really live in their boldness. Like, I really want women to own their stuff, right? And to have heightened self-awareness. And I want women to live in their bigness. And I really want them to, be proud of who they are and to know that they are more than enough and that they are more than equipped to be able to respond to life's challenges, that they don't have to get broken all the way down, in order to be built up, so you could actually break through, something that could be going on in the moment versus, again, waiting for it to break you down or tear you up. And then bad is what I wanted women to recognize about their reputation, and also the energy that they get to emit to attract, really goodness, good opportunities, good connections, good love, just a vibrant life into who they are. And I'm going to break down what each one of those means. So bold means braving out loud daily. So that has to do with you braving life every day and really commanding the space for you to be your authentic self on a consistent and regular basis. Big stands for building in your genius. So this has to do with giving yourself the power to live in your bigness to the point to where you take that genius and leverage it either in your corporate career or leverage that into creating an entrepreneurial venture for you. And bad stands for branded and distinctive. Again, that has to do with your reputation, but you want to be authentically true to who you are. You want to be building in your genius to the point to where it's making a positive impact in every relationship that you connect with. And your reputation will precede you and lead you into badness, being branded and distinctive, so that you can get those invitations to the table of some of the most exciting opportunities in your life. So I hope that explains, what being the Boldness Coach is about. And as you can see behind me, my mantra is, I'm turning this a little bit, it's bold, big, and bad. So that's what I help women like you to do, is to be bold, big, and bad. And at the top, you see my other signs that says no permission needed, so that you can, again, live a life that is bold, big, and bad with no permission needed. And if you want more of that juiciness, you're going to need to come and see me personally. And I want to see you personally at the upcoming book signing that I have. That's going to be I almost said June. I'm already into 2020. That's going to be on September the 15th in Milpitas. Make sure that you check out the Eventbrite that is posted in this group to get all of the details. But now what I want to get into is talking about how you can live your boldest life. And I'm going to be talking from my book. So this is my book. Make sure I'm trying to get the lighting right here. And the book is called Bold Isms, Disruptive Thoughts to Help You to Live Bold, Big, and Bad. And this book was birthed out of me going through that tough period in my life and really questioning things that I was believing. Because, here's the reality. A lot of us have belief systems that we have changed into being factual systems that we operate from. We have turned them into truths, right? We've made them real in our lives. We've created narratives around them. And we got a whole backup system, around beliefs that may not be serving us well. And when I went through that major life event, I had to really check myself. And let me tell you what the event was, because you might be saying, well, what kind of event did you go through? So the event I went through was a divorce. So I waited a little later in life to get married. And then when I got married, I had an unscheduled, unplanned, divorce at the request of my ex-spouse. And so that really prompted me to kind of look at life differently. And I tell people that my divorce was the sneeze that caused the avalanche in my life. So think about that for a moment. Has there been a major life event that has happened for you that perhaps shifted everything in your life, or made you stop and started asking questions about, is this really what my life is supposed to look like? Is this really what I want my life to be like? And perhaps, that put you in a position of questioning things. So that divorce put me in a position of questioning things. As I mentioned, it was the sneeze that caused the avalanche. I started questioning everything that was happening in my life. I started looking at every facet, my career. I started looking at my friendships. I started looking at my relationships, those personal, intimate connections. I started looking at my family connections. I started looking at how I was showing up with myself. I really just had to just peel back all the layers. And so that's how Bold Isms, Disruptive Thoughts to Help You to Live Bold, Big, and Bad was created. And side note, I'm an entrepreneur. I have been an entrepreneur full-time for 23 years. So this is how I make my living as a coach, and I'm known as the Boldness Coach. That is my brand. I'm also a certified career management coach, executive coach, international speaker, award-winning international speaker, and author, executive coach. And so all of that is wrapped up, all of that is wrapped up into me being the Boldness Coach. And so that's where the Boldism kind of was a springboard from, so that where this is rooted. And it wasn't that something I just woke up and said, ooh, I'm going to be the Boldness Coach. It was a little bit more involved, than that. But back to living your boldest life, your best, boldest life, right? So I'm flipping over in the book. So the book is motivational quotes in the book. And one of the quotes that resonates with me as it relates to this talk is, change your mindset, change your actions, change your life. Nothing happens without it happening in the mind first. So whatever narrative that you are playing in your mind is the one that's playing out in your life. If you don't believe me, look at what your life looks like. If the narrative that you're playing in your mind is, nothing ever good happens for me, Why do I always meet the cray guys? If the narrative in your mind is that you're struggling and you're always struggling and it's never enough, or if the narrative is I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I have nothing else left to give, whatever that narrative is that you are playing in your mind, that's your mindset, it's showing up in your life. So if your mindset is one of lack, then you are going to see that sprinkled in every area of your life. Also, conversely, if your mindset is on abundance and you see every challenge as an opportunity for you to learn and grow, if you see that conflict really isn't conflict, but conflict is an invitation to a conversation so that you can learn deeper about what the real issue is, or perhaps conflict can be the invitation for a conversation for you to fine-tune your emotional intelligence skills. So if you see that as an opportunity, then guess what? You're not having fights with people. You're not arguing with people trying to prove your points. That you really learn from it and you appreciate the dialogue and the exchange of the dialogue. So that is one way that you can shift your mind, is really to take a hard look at what it is that you have moved from actually a belief system, and you've made it a truth that you're operating it from it in your life, and look at, again, the reality of your life. You've got to change your mindset. Now, let me just tell you, as a woman who just made it over in the 50 club, that means that I have a whole history of belief systems that I was carrying around with me for a while, trying to, justify what was happening in my life and using them sometimes for external blame, right? But now what I do in my mindset is I ask questions. When things are happening around me, I ask questions. The number one question I ask is, what is this really about? What is the lesson that I'm supposed to learn here? Who do I need to be, in this exchange so that I can really find an opportunity to shift my mindset around what I might be creating that may not be true? Or perhaps, what's inviting me to take, to have a different mindset approach to what could really be true, versus what I'm creating in my head. So shifting the mindset is going to be really powerful in how you start to experience just your day around you. So I encourage you to try shifting your mindset. The other one is change your actions. Once you shift your mindset, guess what? You got to do something different. You can't have a mindset that thinks on positivity, but your actions are negative. Your actions got your mind made up, your body language, you're already judging. Somebody could be walking down the walkway to you and you could look at them and start judging before they even get there. But yet you want to have a mindset of forgiveness, of being forgiveness, or a mindset of openness, but you're not really open because you're judging the person walking to you. So if you say that you want to have a mindset of openness, then your actions have to be that of openness, meaning you have to be in the space of being mindful of what you're thinking. And if you see judgment popping up, you're going to have to cut that. So you're going to have to say, you know what? I have no idea what this person is about to say to me, but I'm open to listen. And that's where you start with changing your actions. So, really think about the mindset that you have around something or that you want to shift into. What actions will be necessary for you to perform to support? What are those physical actions, that you will need to do to support a shift in your mindset? The other component is change your life. When you change your mindset, change your actions, your life is going to change. And you're no longer going to be that person that you used to be, that was saying those things, or that was doing or not doing those things. So it's going to change your life. And here's the reality. Excuse me. Here's the reality. It's not going to happen overnight. I wish I could tell you that, read some of the passages from this book, the Boldisms, and they're going to change your life instantly. Guess what? Not going to work that way. Because you're going to have everything coming around you to test you to see if you're really serious about shifting. And I'll be sharing more stories about how I've been able to shift my life into the next level of boldness at the book signing that's coming up on the 15th. And I'm going to be also helping people in the room to identify where the opportunity is for them to shift. So that way you really can get some value out of the book, but also you want to know how this can really apply and shift your life. So you definitely want to be in the room for this. Let me pick another boldism. I got some kind of tabbed in here. Ooh, this is a good one. This is in week 29. Is your comfort motive stronger than your thrive motive? Ooh. A girlfriend and I were talking about this earlier today. We were talking about being in your comfort zone. So many of us want to make changes around things in our life. So many of us want to go to the next level in our careers, in our relationships, maybe even having a deeper spiritual connection, maybe even work on health and wellness, right? And so, thank you, Lisa. So a lot of us, want to make those changes, but here's the reality. A lot of us are comfortable. And our motive for comfort is so strong until it squashes our thrive motive. So here's a way to look at it. I'll give you an example. Today I had the opportunity to attend the Women's Minority Entrepreneurs Conference today in San Jose, and Lisa was there. It's put on by Cal Asia, and I live in Pinole. So Pinole is near Hercules, in the East Bay, right? And then San Jose, of course, is in San Jose. So with no traffic, from my house to San Jose, with no traffic is probably a little bit about an hour, maybe an hour and 5 minutes, right? But in traffic on a regular work day, in the morning time and in the evening time, trust me, that takes some effort to get out of my comfort zone and to get in traffic. But here's the deal. I'm committed to thriving. I'm committed to being in the presence of other amazing women who are doing bold things in their life and in their career. So that meant that I had to get out of my comfortable, cozy, snuggly bed this morning super early so that I could hit commute traffic and drive all the way to San Jose. Now, I also had to bring in some patience with me while in the commute, right? Because that is a long commute. There's no need for me to get in commute with an attitude, knowing the reality is it's going to take me some time to get there. So I pulled up my Waze directional map so that I could, find me some shortcuts, but also so I could realistically know what time I was going to be there. So I could be able to enjoy the ride along the way and not really be stressing about, oh, this is taking too long. Oh, this and that and the other. So here's the deal. I'm more committed to thriving because thriving requires an investment from you. Being comfortable does not require an investment at all. You can just sit on the couch and be comfortable. I could have stayed in my bed this morning to be comfortable, right? However, what was important to me is thriving. And so I adjusted my typical Friday of working from home. And I normally work from home most of the time. But I adjusted my Friday to get up, get dressed, and to drive to San Jose to be in the room of other amazing women and make some connections because I am bolding up to the next level in my career. And in order for me to do that, I've got to get into have a thrive motive to do that. So the question that I'm asking you this evening is, whatever you're saying, that's great that you're saying it. But what I want you to do is to check your comfort motive. If you're saying it, are you putting some actions behind it? How committed are you really? And tell yourself the truth. And remember, actions is a demonstration of reality. So if you want to know or you want to check and see if you're telling your own self the truth, look at your reality and see what your actions demonstrate. So today I can be able to look at my actions because I made some connections. I connected with women on LinkedIn. I got some pictures. I got some follow-up to do with some of the amazing women that I met in the room. I was able to reconnect with my sister Lisa in person, with my sister Marvell, with my sister Janet. So it was amazing for all of us to be in the room. And I didn't even know Marvell and Janet were going to be there. But we got together in the room, took pictures together, but again, made some really great contacts. So I got out of my comfort zone because my thrive motive is stronger than my comfort motive. So check that out, right? And I'm going to read one more to you. This is a juicy one right here. So this is week 31 in the Boldism book. So the Boldism has 52 quotes in it, but it also it asks you questions. Now listen, it doesn't just come with asking you questions in the book. There's also a workbook, because if you ever do any work with me, what you will find out is I am going to give you some homework to do. So this is not for your entertaining pleasure. This is for you actually putting action into work to shift yourself into finding your level of bold. So week 31, if you are stuck and aren't earning more in your business, career, perhaps you should check the following: your reality with self-worth, self-imposed earning ceiling, your comfort with struggling, and doing the unfamiliar. So a lot of women say, that they want to earn more, and even a lot of entrepreneurs say they want to earn more, and they're struggling with trying to figure out, why aren't people paying them more? Why aren't people recognizing their value, right? And especially from a monetary aspect. So the first question is for you to check is your reality with self-worth. Do you really value yourself? And if you value yourself, how is that value realized in the work that you do? And how is that value realized in the return on investment that you have made to increase your self-worth? So think about that. And I think the hardest thing for entrepreneurs, and for any of my entrepreneurs that are joining on this, one of the toughest things for entrepreneurs is to price their service or to price their product. Because they say, oh, well, I don't want it to be too pricey. Oh, I want to give people discounts. Because, what if people, won't buy, the stuff? Because I really want people to buy it. If you are discounting your value, you are what I call a commodity. You're commoditizing your value. You are commoditizing your skill set. You are commoditizing your worth, which means somebody can come in and negotiate with you on your value. So you've got to really check your self-worth. Are you commoditizing your self-worth where people are bargaining with you and you find yourself in getting the short end of the stick just so you can say you got a deal done? Listen, my price is the price. The value that I bring is the value that I bring. I am not for everybody, and I'm okay with that. So if my price doesn't work for you, then I wish you well in connecting with the thousands and thousands of other coaches, or should I say hundreds of thousands of coaches that are out there, because there is somebody that can fit your price range. But I know my value, I know what my worth is, and I know how what I bring to the conversation and working with you is going to shift you. So check and see if you are commoditizing your self-worth. The other is self-imposed earning ceilings. One time I was coaching with a client, and we were talking about her increasing her prices. And she had asked, somehow she had a conversation with one of her clients. And one of her clients talked about they had paid this other coach a certain amount of money. So I'm going to make up some names. I'm going to call this person Abby. So I'll say Abby was my client, and I'll say Abby was talking to Sue. So Sue tells Abby that this coach was going to charge her $500 an hour. And so Abby was like, oh, that's crazy. Because, see, I charge $195 an hour. It don't take all of that, for them to be charging you $195 an hour. And so I jumped in and I said to Abby, who is the coach, right? I said to Abby, and I said, let me ask you this question. the education that the amount of money that you've spent on investing in your education, would you say that has a value? And she said yes. So I said, well, let's just say that value of all of the years, let's say the last 10 years, you've invested $100,000 on your education, right? So you're grad, you're undergrad, right? And maybe you've taken some certification classes and you've spent $100,000, over the last 10 years, getting that certification, those certifications, increasing your education because you want to earn more money. And you know that in that 10-year period, you have learned so much and applied a lot of the different concepts, techniques, and strategies in your own life until it shifted your life, right? And you know that what you have can help somebody else to shift in their life sooner, faster, quicker, right? Would you do it? And she said, absolutely. That's why I'm doing it now as a coach. And I said, great. However, you still have loans that you're paying. You still got a livelihood that you are, paying for. And you've got things within that livelihood that you need to take care of, including paying back loans, maybe student loans, having a vacation, paying your PG&E bill, paying, the cost to be in a business. So if you were to take your $195 an hour and divide that into the different expense areas in your life, would you come up short? Or would you break even? And so when she looked at it that way, she was like, I would come up short. That's why I'm trying to get more customers, so that I can be able to charge more $195 an hour. I said, so the woman who's charging $500 an hour for her coaching services, she understands what her value is and the investment that was required of her to get to that dollar amount an hour. So she actually works less, has more clients, but works less and gets more return on that because she didn't put a ceiling on her earning potential. I know that was a long way to explain that, but the bottom line is, and if you're just joining me, please go back and catch the replay on this. But here's the deal. A lot of women, we will get all of this education and certifications, and they will put a ceiling on our earning. And, we don't really look at ourselves as a valuable product in the marketplace. I don't want to say commodity because I just talked about commoditizing is when you're bargaining, and cheapening what you offer. But you've got to really look at the value of yourself being the product that you are and what you bring to relationships. So if somebody isn't giving you a raise, you need to go and find other opportunities to increase your value, to get out of that ceiling. If you stay in that earning ceiling, where you're getting promotions and you're not really getting an increase, in your earning because, they say, oh, you've been here for a while, we'll just give you a little increase. We're just going to give you a title increase. Don't ever take a title increase alone, just to say that you're moving ahead in your career. There has to be something else with that title increase, increased benefits, right? You get a seat at the table, you get tuition reimbursement, you get paid memberships or subscriptions. You've got to look at ways to increase your earnings ceiling and get out of limiting yourself in your earning ceiling. The next one is your comfort with struggling. There are some people that don't like to struggle. And let me tell you something. I don't think people wake up in the morning, including me, saying, ooh, I can't wait for the struggle to happen. But struggling with something, and you can rename that, whatever would be more comfortable with you. But when you're struggling for something, you build strength, you build resilience, you build tenacity in struggling. Think about a butterfly coming out of a cocoon, right? Think about a baby chick pecking its way through an egg. So each one of those, as they struggle, they are building capacity within themselves to be able to step into the next challenge. So get comfortable with struggling from the sense of it is teaching you something. What is it teaching you? So don't back away from something because it's hard. Don't back away from something because it's unfamiliar to you. Really ask yourself, again, what is this here to teach me? Who do I need to be? What resources do I need to have? Because struggling is an invitation for you to develop your resilience, your tenacity, even your bounce back. So get comfortable with struggling so that you can develop the muscle that you need to develop for whatever the next level of that thing or that place that you're going. And then last I said is to do the unfamiliar. Too many of us are comfortable doing things that we are familiar and comfortable with. Do something new, learn something new, that you haven't learned before. And I look at it this way. There are some people that, let's say you're a particular type of person that eats a certain kind of food, and you're not open to any other kind of food. You're like, I don't eat that. I just don't eat that. I don't care. I just eat this. This is what I eat. So when you stick to the familiar, you're missing out on an opportunity to explore, the possibilities of what could be. So one of the things in traveling internationally that I learned to do was to get comfortable with doing the unfamiliar. So I travel by myself internationally. Every now and then I go on a group. But of course, I make sure that I plan out my trip as best I can, choosing reputable hotels and things of that sort, right? And mainly name chain, big name brand hotels, because I know exactly what I'm going to get versus like little small local ones that I have no idea about. But going to foreign places has taught me to be open and ask questions of other cultures so that I can learn. Traveling internationally has taught me to try different food. When I'm going to different places, and not to pile on my plate, but just to try little things, that I like. And I learn what to stay away from, and I learn what I really like. Whenever I travel to Asia, specifically India, which I've been to twice, and Sri Lanka, which is under India, when I go to those countries, I stick to lamb and fish. So, because they're not known for their beef, and I don't even know, they're not known for their pork either. So I stick to lamb and fish, and I stick to rice. I stick to beans, but they have beans and rice in so many different flavors and styles, right? And then fish, and so I've tried so many different amazing types of fish, but I'm open. And every time I try something different, I have deeper, richer conversation with people because food brings folks together, right? And it leaves me with a richer understanding. When I bring that conversation back to the United States, and then I connect with women or men who are from that culture, it creates an opportunity for us to build a deeper bond, a deeper connection. So really make your list about things that you're unfamiliar with, but you probably want to learn something about, and open yourself up, because your opportunity could be, and the possibility can be, in the openness. Thank you for the thumbs up, whoever gave that to you. Open yourself up. And one thing I'll say that's doing the unfamiliar, I want to shout out to Lisa Riley, because this is certainly, she is in uncharted and maybe some sense of unfamiliar territory for her, as she brings her passion and her vision together to help these women entrepreneurs, not just here in the Bay Area, but helping them internationally. And so she's out there making some deeper, richer connections and some new connections. And she's out there putting herself out there to have conversations, with the hopes that other people will see and connect with her passion too. She's doing the unfamiliar, and it's paying off, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't be here talking with you. So I just want to thank you all for giving me the space to have and share with you, the space to disrupt some of those old thoughts that you have been holding on to, that perhaps might not be serving you the way they used to. Thank you for the opportunity to plant a seed of possibility, and maybe even flourish that into a garden of boldness. So please come out and join me at the book signing on the 15th of this month, Sunday, in Milpitas. Check the group on the group page. There is a banner with my picture on it. We are doing bubbles and boldness. So yes, we are going to be popping some bubbly, and we're going to be talking about bold isms from the book. Oh, that's my copy. So we're going to be talking about bold isms from the book. There's the workbook from it as well. And we're going to be having some deep discussion to help you to start the journey of finding your level of boldness. Please reach out and connect with me under my page, The Boldness Coach. And make sure that when you're in the room that you let me know you saw this live. I would love to give you a hug, and I would love to personally encourage you to step into your boldness. Life is amazing on the bold side. Have a wonderful weekend. Replay this as much as you need to. I welcome the comments because I'm in the group, so I will be checking and responding to comments. Have a fantastic evening, ladies, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.